So, I'm getting really tired of these people defending the woman king and being all gun-ho with romanticizing a tribe of slave owners. Literally, slave owners. I'm getting responses from people like, well, it's Hollywood, it's fake, or, it's not meant to be realistic. And I'm like, yeah, that's all well and good. But they could have made up a tribe and made a fictional story. They didn't have to use the name of an actual tribe that historically was known, and I recently found this out because of the Woman King inaccuracies, that was historically known for wanting to keep their slaves. And it was the Europeans that came to free them. It was the French that came to free them. And so every time that I get, oh, well, he's just mad because he's probably a white man just not happy to see a black group of women succeed. I'm like, no, I'm biracial. My race shouldn't have anything to do with it, but I'm half black. And they can't respond to me because if they respond to me, they'd have to admit that they were wrong or that they were foolish for assuming that I was just some white person upset that black people were succeeding when really that couldn't be further from the truth. You see, I don't care if black people succeed. I care if black people are succeeding while completely misleading and manipulating people. And I understand in Hollywood there are liberties taken all the time with historical films. That's why it says based on a true story. But usually when it's based on a true story, it has some accuracies in the story. It has some creative liberties are taken, but usually the majority and the meat of that story is still held together. I have big issues when people constantly say things like, Gabe, you're just upset because one person, I'm laughing at this, said I had fake woke outrage. And I'm like, do you even know what the word woke means? The word woke would mean that I would support this movie, that I would be accepting of this movie, that I would be okay with this movie. Now, something that I always point out in regards to the Woman King and its defenders, I'm like, would you guys be okay with, the individuals who celebrated and romanticized Pocahontas? Because I didn't know the true story of Pocahontas until I was much, much older. And I highly doubt you would be okay with celebrating in this way a group of white colonizers coming and absolutely decimating the Indian tribes that Pocahontas was a part of. I am so sick and tired. And I also find it funny that people like this exist. That they think it's acceptable and fun to romanticize a group of slave owners, even though they constantly say slavery was a horrible, awful thing that should not have happened. But yet they're willing to completely romanticize a fabricated, lied about story of a tribe that owned thousands of slaves and, forever slaved these slaves on a regular basis, taking lives. I assure you, if we were, like I said before, if we were doing the same movie with Pocahontas or romanticizing some other group of, white European slave owners, they would have a completely different outlook on this because it's black slave owners. And because these people are conditioned to believe that blacks didn't even own slaves. And when it's put in front of you now as absolute fact that they did own slaves, they're completely, plugging their ears going, no, I can't hear you. And that's the problem. I'm okay with entertainment. I'm okay with fake stories being based around historical events. You can make a completely fake tribe, make a completely fake scenario. It's Hollywood. You can do that. You can make up these situations. You can have this type of fun. You can have this all done in make-believe. You can choose to make up a story that still tells what you want it to tell without having it tied to any real tribe that was evil whatsoever. You don't have to have that connection, but you choose to. And then when people point out the inaccuracies, people in the Boycott Woman King hashtag point out the inaccuracies to try to tell people, hey, people in Africa have pointed out the horrible inaccuracies of this film and like the massive inaccuracies. It's not like just an inaccuracy here and an inaccuracy there. These are inaccuracies that were so bad that it possibly made the original actress quit. Because Viola Davis was not the original actress to play this part. She wasn't. So, if it caused an entire actress to leave, why in the world are you accepting of this film? Oh, because it's a group of black women. It's a group of black women that are strong black female actresses, and it's an all-black cast this, all-black cast that. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so what? What good is an all-black cast if they are promoting something that's one massive lie? And they're even making college curriculums around this film. They have made a syllabus, a Woman King syllabus, based around this whole thing. And that's the problem. That's the problem we face. That's an issue. Because now we have teachers wanting to work off of this syllabus. Because Black history, yeah! Even though it's completely inaccurate, and it's promoting complete inaccuracies, and it's promoting atrocities that happened in Africa and still happen in Africa to a certain point, if I'm remembering correctly. I could be wrong, but I think the white Africans are still having issues of this nature happen to them, where their lands are being stolen and they're being fully mistreated. I will never understand why people do stuff like this. And I'll make a second separate video where I point out all of this stuff, and I will show proof of everything that I have said, if I can find the tweets. Because I have proof of what I said, and I'll make a more condensed video talking about it. But right now I'm just more on the lines talking in terms of overall. I keep seeing people praise this film as some great love letter to African culture, when it's actually a spit in the face to African culture, in my personal opinion, because it's telling one massive, complete lie, and because it's a group of Black actresses, we're just supposed to fawn over it. Like Viola Davis said, if you don't support this movie, you don't support Black people, and that's a bold-faced lie. I'm so sick and tired of A, being guilted into things, and B, being guilted into watching things that are so historically inaccurate that you might as well just make a completely different movie in the first place. Seriously. And as I wrap up this film, my question to you is this: when will it end? When will all this pandering to minority groups and people of that nature end? It's been going on for almost a decade now, and it's getting tiring. It's getting old and tiring. And I, as a minority myself, am so sick and tired of this this self-absorbed culture that we live in. These people that we see constantly praising things that shouldn't be praised. And we're worshiping Hollywood as if they're kings and queens, but really they're just people who play pretend. I will never understand this type of behavior. I will never understand this mindset, but you know what? It happens way more often than you think. And it's very sad that people do this. It's very sad that people think that this is an acceptable way of living, and it's really not. And when I make my slideshow of people who have said, nothing but praise about this movie and told me things like, you know what? It's fiction, but it's promoting Black culture. It's not promoting Black culture. It's promoting an inaccuracy of Black culture. You just want to live in a fantasy world where Black people do nothing wrong. And if that means completely changing their history and their story to make it look like they've never done anything wrong, then so be it. If you are able to sleep well at night knowing that, Black people never committed any atrocities whatsoever, then that's how you're going to sleep at night. That's how you're going to be able to sleep, knowing that this is something that you feel good about, even though it's completely changing history. Again, I'm okay with historical timepieces, like movies like Sense and Sensibility or Pride and Prejudice, where they're period pieces. I'm completely okay with period pieces. They might not be my thing, but I'm okay with them. They have a right to exist, period pieces, and pieces done around a certain time frame or even around a certain historical event. That's fine. But when you attach it to an actual group of people that really existed, and you make it so far against the true history that happened, and you make the white French people out to be the evil bad guys, you make them out to be the bad people, when really they were the heroes wanting to stop the slave trade, and it was the Africans that wanted to keep the slave trade going, as hard as it might be for your little punkin ears to hear. That's where I have a massive issue. You're completely warping history. And there are going to be young Black boys and girls who shouldn't see this movie anyway because it's a violent movie, but I'm sure somebody's going to tell them about it. Young Black boys and girls that are going to hear about this thing. They're going to be college students. They're going to be blissfully ignorant to the true history, and they're going to have this syllabus shoved in their face. And if they're blissfully ignorant and they don't know the truth, they're just going to take the syllabus off as gospel. This is not an okay thing. This is a very damaging thing. So for me, I have very big issues with people praising this film. But you know what? Who am I? Just some half Black, half white, fat, 30-year-old from Ohio trying to live his life. Thank you guys so much for listening to this video. I appreciate it. This is Gabe Radio Blob for saying, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, you can hit the dislike button, but nobody will really pay attention. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, do all that fun stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Gabe signing off. Say take care and God bless. Peace out, everybody.